Hello and welcome to this edition of CFBISD Check-in. I'm Dawn Parnell, Chief Communications Officer for the district, and today we're going to talk about the latest happenings within the school district. And we're so glad to have our special guest, Dr. John Chapman. Dr. Chapman, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well.
Doing great, thank you.
Well, we have just some questions that we would like to ask you. As you know, we just completed the end of the school year. And this was a school year like none other, right?
None you would ever imagine, yes.
Right. And of course, we went to spring break and then we did not come back. And we had stay at home for our students and for our staff. And to start off, what would you like to tell our students and staff and teachers about their resiliency during this time of the stay-at-home orders?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all that you've done in preparing, also thinking through the processes and procedures that we put out for our students. And I'm talking about you teachers, is you've done so much. We didn't have a framework, we didn't have a script, we didn't have any guide to tell us what to do next as we started a virtual journey. And that virtual journey went from March 16th all the way to the end of the school year, which was May 28th. And so I just want to tell you, thank you so much for checking on our kids, for monitoring. Were we perfect in what we did? Absolutely not. But I just want to thank you for staying focused. For our counselors, I want to thank our counselors for constantly monitoring, assessing our kids and their social and emotional needs, and our food service for delivering and handing out literally 52,000 meals every single week. It just took a team effort, all of us working together, but we made it through it. We're going to get better. We've learned from our mistakes. We do have a parent survey out that we're trying to learn what can we do to sharpen our skills if we were to move into a virtual situation next year.
Right. Okay. Well, I know you're a parent, and so how did you support your own child during these uncertain times?
Sure. And it was difficult, even as a parent of a high school student. Peyton is in AP classes, dual credit, and also regular classes, along with he's an athlete. And so, you're having to constantly monitor his grades, what he was doing. He's a very social individual, and so he missed his friends and he couldn't go be with his friends. But it was a time that we worked together as a team. We grew closer as a family, and I know so many did that. For all of us, we're so busy running 90-0 to where we really were slowing down, and we got to spend quality time together. And so I think that's one of the benefits as we move forward. But I understand as a parent, I understand the struggles that they went through. I understand that whenever you're looking at Algebra 2, I took Algebra 2 actually as a minor in college. That's tough. And so having to go back and figure out, what is that teacher wanting and needing to support your child is very difficult. So I understand those struggles that individuals have, but I think in the end, with our teachers and their passion and their resilience to work with our children, that we're better off and we're grateful.
Great. Well, you mentioned that there was some challenges that came as a result of this, and that families may have had some specific struggles. And what resources does our district offer to families that may be experiencing some emotional difficulties during this time? Sure.
We through our counseling services, we offer. We're still counseling. So last fall, we offered counseling services in the evening, free of charge to families that needed it. We had a waiting list. We knew there was a demand. We doubled our counseling services. We still have a waiting list. During this closure, we knew we even needed more because so many people were losing their jobs. The social distancing, the staying at home order caused a number of issues as well. We also, through our safety and security department, they were constantly monitoring Gaggle, all the social media, to see any children that had outcries. And unfortunately, we had several outcries. But we were able to respond to those within hours. And so helping those families and unfortunately those children to cope with the issues that they were having. And we're going to continue to do that. Even through the summer, we're going to provide counseling services. We're also going to continue to provide meals to our students along the way. So any and all resources that we have, we're going to continue to deploy those, even if we were or to look as if we were in school.
Well, as you know, it's summertime now,
Mm-hmm.
and we can tell by the heat outside. Will we have summer school?
We will. So starting in June, so we're in June 4th now, we're going to roll out virtual summer school. But in July, mid-July, we're going to do a face-to-face. And so we're going to have a small rollout as to, what is that going to look like? What are those ratios? What is that reentry plan going to look like as we bring kids back into our buildings? First and foremost, we want the safety and well-being of our kids and our staff. And so we're mapping all of that out right now. And so this summer school in July, face-to-face, will be a good trial run to see where we're going to go in the near future.
Okay, well, along those same lines, we have a program called After the Bell.
Mm-hmm.
So will that start up again anytime soon?
Yes, so we're going to start after the bell in July as well. And so we're not going to move forward in June. Again, we're still waiting on a number of orders from the county judge as well as the governor. The governor, as of this week, released phase 3. So that's going to help us to start to navigate our processes and procedures for bringing those kids back, including after the bell. And again, July summer school. Both of them will be mid-July, and you'll get an announcement in the next week or two.
Okay, very good. Well, before long, we'll be looking at the start of school. I know we're already making preparations and plans, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, the back-to-school time is such an important celebratory time for our teachers and our staff. What about some of those events, like opening of school ceremony, the community pep rally? Will those happen?
They're not. Unfortunately, they're not. We'll have opening of school ceremonies virtually. We'll put together a video that all of our staff can see. And then when you get to the pep rally, again, last year we had close to 10,000 people in attendance, and we're not going to be able to do that again this year. We wish we could, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. The teacher staff developments that we have, we're going to call the new name is Optimizing Outcomes. It'll all be virtual as well, and this is a great opportunity for us to walk through with our teachers to say what can we get better at, and how can we support you and give you the skills that you need as we move forward. And let's do this virtually so that we can all learn together in that process.
All right. Well, we talked about events. Another event that is important as a community partner that we have is MetroCrest Services.
Yes.
And they do such wonderful work in our communund, and they have a backpack giveaway. Do you know if that will be happening?
It will not. And so, Tracy Eubanks and I spoke this week, and unfortunately, their numbers of supporting families has moved from 40 parents or families per week to over 250 a week. And so they're going to utilize their resources and their time and effort to continue to support those families. They do have school supplies that they have stored, that they've given us full reign. They said they would help us and support us. So we're going to take that initiative on, and we're going to provide the backpacks to those children. They served about 1,400 to 1,500 kids a year, and we have plenty of supplies that we can continue to move that on. And then as MetroCrest Services stated, when it hits 2021, they'll be back on track and moving forward. But we need to help them and support them during this time. I can also say I'm proud to state that our CFB administration's going to volunteer and help support those families. So we're going to volunteer one day in July to support them and move works forward.
Very good. Well, as you know, during this time, our tennis courts, our playgrounds, our tracks have been closed. I know some of our community has asked about when those will reopen. Do we have any information to report on that?
Yeah, so as of this week, they are reopened. So tennis courts, track are open. Playgrounds are also going to be open. So we're monitoring through how can we clean and how can we sanitize those. So that piece is all now established and moving forward. So they're open. A lot of people are asking about our natatorium. Exterior pools we can open. So people say, well, chlorine, COVID doesn't travel through chlorine. Chlorine can kill them, etc. True. And we're ready to open, but we're still waiting for the green light from the governor's office on an indoor pool. And when can we then open that? We hope to have deeper or further guidance on June 15th. And as soon as we are allowed to and we're told we can, we'll open it up immediately. We know people want to use it. They need to use it. We know that this is taxpayer facilities. So we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we can reopen any and all of those facilities that people use on a regular basis.
Okay, we can share that information out when it's time.
Yes, yes.
Very good. Well, also talking about sports in a way, can students in high school extracurricular activities participate in strength and conditioning this summer?
They can. So UIL last week, the University Interscholastic League announced that on June 8th that they can start hitting the field, court, whatever have it, the concrete for band, and they can start doing strength and conditioning and getting training pieces together. There are tight guidelines and regulations that are in place, but this is a light, as we could see, is to say, all right, UIL is allowing this, and we can start to move that piece forward. And so we're blessed in CFB that starting on Monday, kids are going to be coming back to our facilities and getting ready for the fall.
Yeah, awesome. That's good to hear. Well, speaking of the fall, this is a real general question, but what are the plans for the 2021 school year? Do you think we will return to the normal as we've all been used to?
Yeah, that's our hope, that's our goal, that's our dream, that's our desire. That's what we want. We need our kids back in our buildings. We need to educate them. We need to feed them. We need to put our eyes on them. We need to see that they're okay. One thing that I tell a lot of people right now is it is very difficult to teach our littles, and so I'm going to say our kindergarten through third grade, how to read virtually. It's very difficult. We need them in our buildings. We want our kids in our buildings. So unfortunately, we don't know right now. We're still waiting on the governor and the commissioner of education to provide us with more information on what does that look like. I know you're hearing all over districts stating about, we're going to go to an A-B and a B day. We're going to have secondary kids learning virtual this year. We're going to, you see so many different options. We just don't know yet. And so CFB has some plans. We've got some options. We've got from normal, again, which we hope. We've got hybrid, and then we've got all virtual. So we're still monitoring and evaluating, but we will release those plans as soon as we get the green light again from the state.
Okay. All right. So that information is still forthcoming.
It is.
And of course, we don't have a crystal ball, but
No.
if there was to be an outbreak, next year during the school year, how will that affect the school calendar, the district calendar?
Sure. There are, again, there's a lot of calendars. There's a lot of opinions on different districts across the state of Texas. And so the district in the DIC, the District Site-Based Decision-Making Committee, worked to look at all the options that were available. And the state of Texas had 7 different weeks that you would take off during the school year. So 2 weeks in October, you have some off November, December, 2 weeks March, 2 weeks in May. And then you would go to school all of June and part of July. Well, we felt that it was important that we keep as much normalcy as we can. So let's go to school from the calendar that was developed by the board, approved by the board on January 16, 2020. And we're going to leave that. In the event that we have a wave and we have to be closed for 2 weeks, then we're just going to take those 2 weeks and we'll add 10 days in June. If we have to close again in November, we'll take those 2 weeks and add them even 2 more weeks in June, and we'll go to school to make up that time. The rule is that every child must go to school 75,600 minutes per year. And so right now, with our current schedule, we are exactly at the 75,690 minutes. So we're 90 minutes over at this point. But we're not going to go changing the calendar because we just don't know if a wave will hit. Will a wave hit? Maybe, maybe not. No one knows. And so why start massaging a calendar whenever you don't know what the future holds?
Right. Okay. Well, and talking about being back at campus, at schools, of course, we all want to be safe. And what measures will the district put in place to help as best we can to ensure the safety and the health of our students and also our staff?
Absolutely. So we have return to work procedures that are in place that we're going to start following on Monday. Monday is the first day that people can come back into our buildings. And we're going to have a reentry plan too. We're working on it right now. We're using the Texas Safe Schools model, their template, and we're building out what are those processes and procedures in place, working with this DISH, working with CDC to make sure that all those pieces are in order. So like hand sanitizers, wearing masks, social distancing, all of those things. How are we going to structure? What is the format? What's the flow of the halls going to be? We're looking at every one of those. And we've got a pretty in-depth 6-page, 7-page plan right now. But again, we don't want to release that until we start to hear where the governor is, because where we were just 2 weeks ago and where we are today has changed dramatically. And so what will the next 6-7 weeks be? And so we're being cautious, but we are on it. We've got teams working on it every single day.
And as you mentioned, being cautious because this is a very fluid situation. So of course, getting information out is so important, but we're also, if you want to speak on this, trying to be careful that when we send out information, it's accurate. What would you like to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're constantly fighting the questions from that parents are asking about. Well, we heard this district's doing this. We heard districts are doing that. We understand. We're monitoring and watching that. Once we get all the facts in place, we're going to sit and lay out that information to our parents of exactly what we're doing based on, again, CDC, the governor's office, the county judge. A lot of districts have stated a lot of things, and they've had to come back and retract it. And knock on wood, we haven't had to do that yet. We're constantly monitoring and evaluating, and we want to provide the best plan possible before we move works forward.
Well, very good. Well, we continue to put information out on the website, and we'll keep our parents and families and staff and students updated on the website. Is there anything in closing you'd like to share about this summer and encouraging words you'd like to give to our stakeholders?
Sure. I just want to say thank you for your support and your dedication, and most importantly, your patience as we work through this unprecedented time. And just know that we're here to provide all the resources we possibly can to help you as you educate your children. And for staff, we're here. We want to support you, and know when you come back to work that we're going to have every measure in place for your safety and your well-being. So thank each and every one of you for what you do and what you're about, and God bless you all.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chapman, for joining us on this edition of Inside and CFBISD Check-in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.